welcome everyone to, actually this is our first, I guess, official one we've ever done of this before. For our Nevada-based teams, we had been doing coaches corners, and for our non-Nevada teams, we really hadn't opened it up beyond our borders to do sort of a virtual meeting like this. So this year we decided to take our last meeting of the year and turn it into an information meeting for all the teams that will be participating in this year's Las Vegas Regional. And so what this is I'm going to kind of walk through some highlights of what the team meeting guide covered, open up the floor so you can ask questions. We've gotten some great questions already, like what is a heavy rigging for the pits and stuff like that. So I want to talk about that. And so this is a good place for a dialogue of just me sharing the key things we need to make sure our teams know before they arrive in Las Vegas, as well as an opportunity for you to ask questions. So with me are a number of people from the Las Vegas, from the planning committee from Las Vegas Regional, and as well as First Nevada. So if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. We have some people monitoring the chat as well. If we have a small crowd here, so feel free to unmute to ask a question as well. And we are going to record this, so if anybody from your team was not able to attend tonight, you're welcome to share that recording with them. It should be complete within a day or so of going out. Additionally, I've just posted the slides. So all my slides are now available, which include annotated notes with hyperlinks as needed for you to also download and share with anybody that may be interested or need this information as well. So there's a lot of ways to catch up if you were not able to attend the original meeting here. So I should introduce myself. I'm Louis Verbo. I am the Team Development and Education Specialist for First Nevada. I'm also a member of the Las Vegas Regional Planning Committee. As we'll talk about here in a moment, I'll be an on-site resource for your team as well. If you have any questions or need any assistance, I'll be someone who's floating around the venue, being able to help out teams as needed. So the agenda tonight is kind of broken into 4 parts. I want to do kind of a high-level overview of the Las Vegas Regional and kind of cover like how many teams we're expecting, where they're coming from, and a few other things I want to share with you that kind of don't fit well in other boxes in terms of the presentation. Then we're going to move into talking about the venue itself, what is going to be loaded in, what is the pit layout kind of looking like, without telling you where you're going to be specifically, and talk about a few other things related specific to the venue. We'll move into competing itself. We'll talk about things like your judging, as well as where to queue up for your matches. And then the last bit is just kind of a reminder to teams of, hey, these are the things you really need to make sure you're preparing for in these last moments before you attend a regional. Some of our teams, we're very aware, have already been participating in regionals. Some of them have not. This will be the first and only competition that they'll be attending this year. So I'm kind of covering a lot of teams and their backgrounds as well with this presentation. Again, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. A quick question, and you'll have opportunities to unmute later on. Just ask them that way as well. So as I said, I want to start off with kind of just a high-level overview of the Las Vegas Regional and kind of give you an idea of who's going to be there with us in this one competition. So I want to introduce a few other important people involved here. There's a lot that involved with running the Las Vegas Regional, as true with any regional, to be honest. With me on the call tonight is Angela Quick. Angela is our First Robotics Competition Regional Director. She'll be on site, of course, helping out in all kinds of ways. She is our main point of contact for all things FRC, but she's also wears another hat. She is also the Executive Director for First Nevada. So anything related to First within the state of Nevada, she's our go-to person. But on the day of the event, or I should say multi-days of the event, she will be wearing her Regional Director hat as well. Along with Angela is Leilani Pavlik. Leilani is our FRC Assistant Regional Director. She is also the volunteer coordinator. So you're going to see her mostly stationed down by our kind of welcome table, also very close to the practice field. So she'll be down ground level with the pits. You'll see her a lot wandering around down there, working with the volunteers. She's also an awesome resource for anything you need to know about the event or anything related to First in Nevada as well. And then as I introduced myself earlier, I work cross-program, everything from FLL, FCC, and FRC. I am on the FLL PDP as well. I'll be working with you. Any questions you have, you can stop and grab me. I'll also be working with people like the media coming in, and as we're going to talk about here later on, we have a lot of field trips. We have a lot of guests coming to the event, so I'll be working a lot with our guests as well. But any of us, we'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Just tap us on the shoulder, say hello. We'd love to hear more about your team, especially if you're coming from afar. We want to hear about your travels and how much you might like the Las Vegas region. We'd love to get some feedback as well. So if you don't know by now, I hope everyone's on board with this one. We are a Week 5 event, March 26th through the 29th. The event will take place at the Thomas & Mack Center on the UNLV campus. We've been here for a number of years, going even back to pre-pandemic. We've been here. So a lot of this event is going to be rinse and repeat for us. We keep tweaking things, trying to make things better. But in terms of the layout, the schedule, everything's more or less going to be very similar, if not identical, where it's been before. For teams who are traveling in, the Thomas & Mack Center is really close to the airport, almost walking if you were crazy enough to walk across the runways. But we are like right at the end of the runway there at the Reed Airport. We're also very close to the Las Vegas Strip for those who are coming in for the first time. There has been construction in the area. The Tropicana Bridge overpass seems to be getting more usable every day. So it's going to be easier, hopefully, to access the venue than it had been in prior seasons. But it's a great venue, plenty of space for our spectators to come in, a lot of resources around the venue in terms of support for you, both in food, hardware, and housing is all there right nearby. If you haven't taken a look yet, you're welcome to go to the FRC events page, which lists out all the teams that are competing. We do have 45 teams that will be participating at the Las Vegas Regional. That is the maximum capacity for the space that we have. We do fill up the entire Thomas & Mack floor between the pits and the competition field. So you're welcome to, I'm not going to go through it. It's an eye test to even see this page, but you can use the QR code there or hyperlink at the top. Go check out the list of teams that are competing. We have everything from Team 4, the very low
maybe
number.
not right now. Yeah. Sorry.
That's all the way up to our rookie teams. We have 3 rookie teams this year. So we have the whole gamut of teams, very veteran to very new, who are competing in their first event or maybe have been competing for over 2 decades now. In terms of representation, we have 4 states represented here at the event. We have Arizona, California, Hawaii, and Nevada all here. It's only been very recently that Nevada has actually started outnumbering the other locations as we have continued to grow our first programs in the state. Besides the American teams, we also have teams representing Canada and Japan as well. So we have 3 different countries, 4 different states coming together at this great event. It's a wonderful opportunity, as you've been to events before, to network, to learn about customs from other places, and just to find out other ways to do first and the greatness that it is, and just enjoy a wonderful couple of days of competition as well as learning. It's an awesome time to go by other pits, learn about their robots, learn about what they're doing in their community. So we highly encourage our teams to interact and get to know each other. These are one of the few times that you get to actually do that. So we would definitely like to see our teams in the aisles of the pits, hanging out together, and of course, in the evenings if they have that time as well. As I mentioned, we do have 3 rookie teams. All of them are Nevada-based. 2 of them are from Southern Nevada, Las Vegas area. We have the Adelson School joining us this year, ARC. Been with us a long time in terms of FLL and FTC. They're expanding, including FRC this year. Also in the South, we have Mojave High School, who is moving from, well, I shouldn't say moving from, adding on to their FTC team. They now have an FRC team. They'll be competing for the first time this year. And then we also have in the North a community team, Phoenix. It's actually a veteran coach who started a new team that will be joining us. So please welcome them. And if they need any help, I really encourage you to hang out around with them. Let them know you're there as a resource. If you're one of the rookie teams on the call, ask for help. One of the great things about FIRST is we do compete, but we do it in a way that we cooperate as well through that cooperation mentality. So if you're missing a part, you need help coding, maybe you're just not getting through inspection, you really need some help with it, ask for help. Look at the team next to you in the pit, look at the teams all around, and just say, hey, could someone not mind coming over to our pit and helping out? That's what FIRST is really about. So we're looking forward to seeing our 3 new rookie teams joining us this year, and supporting them in their first competition ever, which is amazing. So I have a couple of other quick announcements I need to bring up. As part of the Las Vegas Regional, we have 2 special events that we do at the same time. On Saturday, we invite VIPs in. These are community partners, these are industrial partners, these are sponsors, this is educational groups. We invite them to come in, check out what FIRST is all about, see the event firsthand, and then we provide them a luncheon venue to network amongst each other. As part of this, we have a tradition of incorporating our students as well. And so what we're asking for is a couple student ambassadors, maybe 1 or so per team, maybe 2 per team, helping out with this. What this entails is on a Friday afternoon during the lunch hour, I'll give them a quick rundown and training. It takes about 40 minutes. And then on Saturday morning, mid-morning, what we do is we ask our student ambassadors to provide tours of the venue. We also have on display on Saturday morning FLL and FTC as well. So our student ambassador will take our guests on tours, take them through the pits, and then escort them to the luncheon. The students are invited to stay for lunch, and they get to network with some very influential people. But at this time, we are short. We could use some more student ambassadors. So if your team would like to donate some students to us, we'd be very happy. We, as a thank you, will provide the students not only a lunch, but they also get a First Nevada Volunteer t-shirt. And they do get to meet some amazing people who are involved with FIRST or maybe learning FIRST for the first time. The one catch here is the timing of this event, the VIP luncheon, is it happens at the last rounds of the qualification matches on Saturday, as well as alliance selection. So you really can't donate a student that might be part of your drive team or a captain involved with scouting or doing alliance selection. But otherwise, we're very welcoming and would love to have some more student ambassadors get involved with this. If you have a student in mind, please email me. Just let me know what team they're coming from and their first and last name. And then I'll email you about a week ahead of the event, just with a last second details about it. My other call here is on Friday. We have invited a number of schools from the Las Vegas Valley area to come join us. We've had an overwhelming response. I think we're at over 800 students now who will be coming by the Las Vegas Regional on Friday. Only in the morning, it seems like they're signing up for. But we really need some help with students from teams to kind of answer questions, maybe take them on a mini tour, or just talk with the students outright. This is, again, something I'll be coordinating, so I will help guide our FRC students who are answering these questions. But if you have a team member or 2 that would be interested in working with the community, working with those younger kids, working with future FRC team members, please let me know. There's never too many here because we do have over 800 kids we'll be working with. But if you have any students on your team that would be interested in working with me on that, just Friday morning from about 8 to noon, doesn't even have to be that full 4 hours. If they can only donate 2 hours here or there, anything that would be helpful. We'd love to have some students come out and help out working with these other students, I should say, as well. So I'm going to take a pause here. That's just the high-level overviews. If you have any questions, please throw them in the chat or feel free to unmute. Probably not too many questions coming out of these first announcements, but
real quick question.
Yeah.
So I have a new student who joined recently. She used to be in our club back before we were FRC.
Yeah.
And now she's joined back up. Now that we're FRC, she doesn't have much experience, but she does like to work with younger kids. Would that be a person you'd be interested in?
Absolutely. Yep. Really, the inspirational voices these younger kids are always looking up to the high school students. So anybody with that enthusiasm and just willingness to talk, we'd love to have them. And I can coach them up on anything short, or they can just pass off any questions to me that might get technical. So love to have them.
All right. She has some experience in robotics because I trained her partially during a Girls Who Code thing, but
Yep.
I have to go check with her and see if she'd be okay with it.
Okay. No, definitely, Adam. Send me an email if she's okay with it, and I'll add her to our list. Thank you. Okay, let's transition into the actual venue itself. As I already mentioned, we will be returning to the Thomas and Mack Center on the UNLV campus. It has been home to the Las Vegas Regional for a number of seasons now. And so what I want to do is kind of dive into what the venue layout is like, what are the options there, some of the restrictions also available, and talk about load in and load out to the venue itself. This is the first moment I really have a chance to say, teams, you should have received from Angela an email giving you the team event guide. The event guide covers everything related to the Las Vegas Regional. I won't be able to cover everything in the event guide. It is assumed that you and potentially and most likely your student members have already looked through it. This should answer most every question you have. If anything's missing, just let me know. We're always iteratively improving this every year. So please let us know what questions you might have that aren't addressed there. But I do want to point you to this. It's an amazing resource. I'm saying that mostly because I wrote it, but I do want to make sure everyone else is looking at it because I think it does address a number of questions. But I'm going to talk about some of the highlights coming out of here that you'll need to know. First and foremost is the first time we're going to interact with you in person is during load-in. The main load-in period will be on Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. During that time, teams will be invited to bring in their pit, their robot, their tools, anything that they're going to use over the weekend. So the way this works is we have a very specific path that the vehicles need to follow. It is in the team event guide, but I have it here on the screen. So there's some roads there on the that'd be the northeast side of the venue. You'll be coming down Jerry Tarkanian Way, and there's this little alleyway. It's pretty obvious when you're on top of it, but what you're going to do is you're going to pull down there and you're going to turn into what we call the tunnel parking lot. It's a fenced-in parking lot, and we have one side we're using for the entrance and the opposite side used for the exit. And it's really important that you come in the side I show here on the screen where the entrance part is, because we're going to have all the cars flow through in a circular pattern. During the load-in, we do follow kind of standard first protocol. What we ask is that no more than 5 team representatives go into the pit with the equipment. One of those representatives needs to be an adult. You need to be wearing your safety glasses when you're in the pit. Specific to the Las Vegas Regional, I do want to remind everyone that we need to keep someone with the vehicle all times. It does get to be a little bit of a tight space. So it's very important that we have someone at their vehicle all time in case we need to move it. So do make sure that you coordinate in a way that you have an adult able to go into the pit with the team, as well as a driver that can stay with the vehicle. We do double stack our cars, so we only allow 2 rows of vehicles to unload at a time. The other thing I do want to warn you about is the main entrance into the UNLV, into the venue, is a steepish inclined ramp, and it's pretty long. We've had a number of teams show up and look at that ramp and think, oh, how am I going to guide this large tool chest down it? So do plan accordingly. That keep in mind that there is that steep ramp. You will need some help if you have any heavy equipment getting it down there. We don't really have much in the way of carts or dollies, so plan also to have to figure out how you're going to move the equipment from the top of that ramp down. We also very restrictively say no vehicles down the ramp, and that is for a number of reasons. One is there's a lot of foot traffic on there, and so for the safety of those loading in and out, we don't allow vehicles down there. We also need to keep that ramp clear for emergency vehicles. The ambulance will park down that ramp, and they need to be able to get in and out as necessary. So on Wednesday evening, what you'll do is you'll follow the path I have shown there on the screen. You'll pull your vehicle in there. There will be a number of us wearing these very dorky looking blue vests. That'll show those that are volunteering, helping guide teams. We usually have about 3 to 5 of us at the top of the ramp. I'll be there helping out, answering your questions, guiding you in. You'll take your equipment off the top of the ramp. You'll guide it by foot down the ramp into the venue. Leilani will be down there along with a number of other volunteers that will guide you to your pit area. Go in, pit, set up your pit, bring your equipment in, set up your pit if you like, and then head out. Remember, during this time, there's absolutely no working on the robot. It's only to load in your equipment. After the load-in on Wednesday, all of our team members and attendees must enter the building from the main UNLV Thomas & Mack entrance. So I know it's a little bit of a tease because on Wednesday's load-in the evening, we have you come down the tunnel parking, but for the rest of the weekend, you must enter through the main entrance. And there's a number of reasons for this. So first off, I should say parking is free. There's 2 very large parking lots. Parking is never an issue at the event. You have plenty of space. It is also free. The thing is, there is no overnight parking. So buses, trailers, nothing can be left in the parking lot overnight. Plan accordingly. Bring it to your hotel. Take it back to your school if you're a local team. Nothing can be left in the parking lots overnight. Although you'll use the tunnel parking on Wednesday, afterwards, you need to use the gray and scarlet parking lots indicated here on the map. When you approach the venue by foot, you'll notice that the main entrance is on the 2nd floor. So I have a picture there on the right. There's a good amount of stairs you have to climb. There are 2 escalators available that should be running to allow you to get access to that 2nd floor if need be. A lot of people don't know this as well. There is limited elevator access that you get to by entering the doors there I show on the 1st floor. You actually go in those doors and there is an elevator waiting. Those doors on that 1st floor are only for the elevator. You can't get into the venue through there. It only accesses the elevator up to the 2nd floor. And it is a smaller elevator, so we do ask, unless you really need to use the elevator, please use either the escalators or the stairs to enter the venue. Now, a lot of you are probably asking, well, what about Thursday load-in? Yes, you may load in on Thursday morning. There is a small window of time if your team cannot load in on Wednesday, or if there's additional things that need to come in on Thursday. So you do have that option to load in on Thursday morning. However, after load-in, we are going to ask you to go over and park in the gray or scarlet parking lot and to enter the venue through that main entrance. So keep that in mind. So the highlight here is, yes, you will use a tunnel parking lot to enter in on Wednesday. The rest of the time, you need to come into the main entrances on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. One of the big changes that's happening this year, if you're a veteran team, is that due to venue policies, all of our attendees need to go through metal detectors this year. We do recognize that this can slow the process of getting our teams in. So we have worked with the Thomas & Mack Center to allow our teams to enter the building 30 minutes ahead of when the pits open. So hopefully this will allow time for our team members to go through the metal detectors and enter the building itself. Now, during that 30-minute window, we are going to keep everyone on the concourse level. So the main doors will open 30 minutes early, but nobody will be allowed down into the pits until the published pit time. So this will allow us to allow teams in through the metal detectors in a timely manner, hold on the concourse level, and then when the pits open, teams will be allowed down into the pits. This also includes the grandstands as well. So do keep that in mind, that that 30-minute window that we're allowing this here is only to get our teams through the metal detectors. A couple of other things we recognize, we're working with a lot of robotics kids here who are carrying a lot of metal, including tools. Those will be allowed through the metal detectors. Multi-purpose tools, like I've shown here, are allowed as long as there's a reasonable size to them. So the rule of thumb is here, 4-inch blades or smaller can come through. They do need to kind of, if you will, declare that they have these items, and we'll have to show the attendees as they pass through the metal detectors. Another big item that I do want to warn teams of is hydro flasks and any other like-minded metal liquid containers are not allowed in the venue. Plastic bottles are, but not the metal ones. Angela, were you going to say something?
I put it in the chat, but I wanted to point out, you might be getting ready to do it anyway, but that for load in and load out on the event floor level, teams will not have to go through metal detectors. So I didn't want anyone to be alarmed thinking they're going to have to bring their robot and tools for the pit area.
Yeah, I didn't forget to say that at all. So yeah, I was going to say it in the moment. No, I did forget to say that. Yeah, so on Wednesday and on Thursday morning, if you're doing load in, coming through the tunnel entrance, you will not have to go through metal detectors. It's understood that you're bringing in giant metal robots and their tools. So yeah, good on that end. Yeah. Okay. When we're actually competing and we're running our matches, we have this kind of view here where you have there. I don't have the pits marked. We haven't published yet where the teams will be in the pits, but there are the 45 pits there. They are divided from the main competition field with a giant black curtain. You can kind of see it in this image here. It's kind of right edge on, but there's a large large black curtain hanging from the ceiling that kind of divides the pits from the competition field. Teams will queue up on either side of that curtain, depending on if they're the part of the red alliance or part of the blue alliance. You'll see it once you get to the first match, it'll be kind of obvious how we do this. The key there is also that I keep saying metal curtain. That black curtain is also a divider between our main volunteers who are running the competition and those who are in the pit. Only team members who are part of the drive team, as well as the one media member per team, will be allowed to go around the curtain. And they can only do so during their scheduled match time. So as you're queuing up, you'll be on the side. You'll be moved closer to the field as you get closer to your match. Of course, then you'll load your robot onto the field. The drivers will be in their normal drive position. The team member, the team media member, will be invited to a special standing place, which is located right next to the field up here at the top of this map, where they should be able to get a nice clear view of the field, no problem. After the match is over, the team media member will return with the drive team and leave the area. We're trying to be very restrictive on who has access to field side. We also want to make sure the team media area is clear, so only the teams that are competing in a match are there to see and record their teams. So again, only the drive team and the team media person is allowed past that curtain, and only during the matches that they are involved with. This allows us to keep a nice, clean, safe area, as well as to be fair to all of our teams and their access to the field. There is plenty of seating at the Thomas & Mack. It actually is overwhelmingly empty at times because this is a normal campus, large campus competition arena. So there's plenty of seating up close in the stands, as you can see right here on this image on the top right. So a view of the field is not going to be hard to get a hold of. You just can't get field side unless you're actually competing. We are in a normal stadium, and so we will have concessions going throughout Thursday and Friday and Saturday. It's normal stadium food. I did include in the team event guide kind of a list of items that will be sold and prices to be expected. One of the rules here is there no outside food is allowed in the venue. There are a lot of food options locally. This is a major campus. There are a lot of college-related food items around. We're also very close to the Las Vegas Strip. Food is not an option, not an issue in terms of getting to it. Just bringing external food into the venue is not allowed. You are welcome to tailgate out in the parking lot with your vehicles. Just politely clean up any mess that goes with it. There is plenty of food on site as well. We usually don't have issues with lines as teams are constantly coming and going from the food options. Also this year, we are marking off a part of the concourse level and designating it our quiet area. So if any of our team members or you as a coach need some time out, we all do. There's a portion of the concourse area that is designated as a quiet area. That what we do is we ask everybody to stay in a visible location, but we also ask it to be a place where people aren't using loud music or talking. It's really a place to decompress as needed. There's also plenty of space outside. At this time of year, Las Vegas can be gorgeous in terms of weather. You're invited to go outside as well and hang out there if you need some time out. Well, I'm going to take a pause here. Open up the floor. Is there any questions related to the venue, the layout, and where things will be? Oh, I forgot to mention an extremely important thing. This tunnel here and the long tunnel here, even for loadout, we do not allow vehicles to travel down it. And again, remember, there's somewhat of a steep ramp there. It's very tempting to say, let me just pull my vehicle down here real quick, because when we're doing loadout is kind of more of a multi-hour process as teams don't make the playoffs or eliminated from the playoffs. They tend to load out a longer period of time. We still do not allow vehicles down that tunnel ramp. It's a safety consideration that we need to keep in mind. So even during loadout, you cannot come down that tunnel ramp. So, all right, now I'll stop and let questions go. I know, I see Angela throwing stuff in there. Good. Yep. And Tom was asking about the metal containers are a pretty new item this year. And so just let your students know they cannot bring metal containers in for their liquids. Yeah. Or glass. Yep. For sure. All right. Well, I want to transition into what the competition itself will be like. So as I always do whenever I talk to coaches and teams, I take out my soapbox for a moment and remind everyone you should read the game manual. This is that central document that we all share related to everything about the competition. So I do really kind of take a moment here with my bullhorn, remind you that the game manual must be read by all of our teams. Coaches, I usually recommend that you read through it at least once to know what's in it, but really the youth members should be your experts on it. So this game manual, although it's lengthy, is somewhat evergreen from year after year. It also describes a lot of the rules, or all the rules that we will be following. So do make sure you understand what's in the game manual, where it's at. A lot of questions are addressed by just going through that game manual itself. So do make sure you're aware of it, one. Two, make sure someone on your team, if not multiple people on your team, are experts on it as well. Do want to mention that. Next up, in terms of the schedule itself, we are a multi-day event, as all regionals are. It is expected the teams are there for the entire time on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sometimes we do get the question, can we just show up for our scheduled time or maybe only Thursday evening? You really do need to commit to be there all day Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The Wednesday load-in is optional. You do have an option on Thursday morning to load in if you can't arrive in time, or like I said, if you have some extra parts you need to bring in, that is available to you. But we do run all day Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There is a general theme to each day. So Thursday is dedicated to robot inspection and our practice matches. So this is the day that our inspectors wearing the green hats are going to look at all the robots, make sure they're compliant, make sure they're safe and ready to go. It's also a day for our teams to get onto the field and practice together. With FRC, not everyone has access to a full playing field. So this might be the first time many of our robots have seen the full field at one time. So keep that in mind as you're working with other teams. This might be the first time they've actually interacted with some of the scoring elements. So keep that in mind as well. Tentatively, we have a team social scheduled for Thursday evening. I say tentatively because we are supposed to wrap up with everything earlier on Thursday evening that has been done in prior seasons. We're still working out the details of the team social and how it might work out. Stay tuned on that part. We do have a wonderful veteran team that's been hosting our social for a number of years. They're on the ready if everything looks like we can do it. And we'll make sure to communicate to you those details about the social on Thursday evening. Friday is all about qualification matches. So at this point on Friday, we've inspected all the robots. We know that they're good to go. We're going to run qualification matches all day. That's really the purpose of Friday. We do start off with an opening ceremony. We ask everyone to attend that opening ceremony. It's a great way to get that vibe going, that feeling going for the day. We end Friday with an award ceremony where we'll hand out a couple of prestigious awards. We do ask our teams to attend that as well. We ask that the teams can kind of keep the pits quiet at that time as well so that we can recognize those award recipients. And out of respect for them, we want to make sure they have their moment in the sun, if you will. Saturday is more qualification matches in the morning, followed by an alliance selection, a lunch break. And then what's different this year is we have a mixture of playoffs and award ceremony. So it's an idea of taking a couple of matches in the playoffs, presenting an award, do a couple more matches, presenting another award. And this is something that FTC has been doing, FRC just started doing, I should say. FRC has been trying it for a while. We're fully all in this year. So the afternoon on Saturday is going to be a combination of playoff matches with award ceremony. Like with the other ceremonies, we do ask that there's minimal noise coming out of the pit area. As I talked about earlier, our pits are very close to the competition field, so it's very easy to overwhelm that sound. Be respectful for our teams that are receiving awards, so keep that in mind as well. We do hope to wrap up, around 5 p.m. Of course, if you're a veteran, you know that this is all fluid based on qualification matches, and as a Las Vegas Regional had a history of or an incident, occasionally we break the scoring software, might have to delay slightly for that, but this is our tentative schedule. Of course, times are always fluid based on getting all of our matches in as needed. We do ask that when you arrive at the venue, your robot is ready for inspection. And I say this because our inspectors are very busy on that first day on Thursday as they try to get through all 45 teams. There's always going to be complications or little nuances that prevent a team from passing inspection. So we want to make sure that our teams are as close to, if not fully ready to pass inspection at the beginning. So what this means is we ask that you don't bring a pile of parts to the event. Really have that robot ready to go over and see an inspector first thing on Thursday. Doesn't mean you have to, but we do want to make sure our robots can maximize their time on the field. Remember, Thursday is not only inspection day, it's also practice day. If you're coming to the venue with a unfinished robot, that means those are matches you're not able to participate in. So there's a huge benefit to coming with a robot ready for inspection on Thursday. Not only can we check you off as a robot that's ready to compete, but it also means you can get onto that field fully functioning and ready to test out your robot. Do keep in mind, you don't have to pass inspection to do a practice match. As long as the robot is in a safe condition, on Thursday, you're allowed to do practice matches without the robot passing inspection. But if your robot's not built, that means those are matches you can't participate in. So it's always a good idea to aim for and have your team ready for inspection first thing Thursday morning. Doesn't mean you have to do inspection right away. Just have that mentality. It makes the day go by so much more smoothly. If you are struggling to get through inspection, remember, this is a type of environment, ask for help. We are there to help you, be it myself or someone else. We have our CSAs available. Other teams are there to help you out. We want to make sure your robot is ready to compete. So if you have any issues at all, missing parts, can't figure out your code, if you need to know where the nearest hardware store is, whatever you need, just ask for help. We're there to help you. We want to see the best robots on the field at all times. Oh, wait, Leilani, teams do need to have an inspection sticker before they can use the practice field. Oh, okay, thank you. That's a good clarification from our our assistant regional director there. Teams do need to have an inspection sticker before they can use the practice field. Do keep in mind that FIRST has published a checklist for teams to go through. So you as a team have this available to you, and I do encourage you, as a former coach myself, go through your inspection checklist before coming to the event. This way you don't come into any surprises, you understand what the inspectors are looking for. This will also help to have a good dialogue and conversation with your inspector to make sure you understand what they're looking for and how your robot satisfies that, or with a quick fix can be a way that does satisfy it. So I do ask you go take a look at the inspection checklist, run it through with your team, let them look at it over so they understand what the inspector is going to be looking for when they get to the venue. This is a great way to make everything move smoothly and fluidly through the event. I know we have a couple inspectors on this call tonight. They're probably saying, yes, please make sure your team is ready for that inspection. Switching gears, we are a More Than Robots program. So yes, the robots are awesome. They're a fun thing to watch, but our teams have so much more to share. And that's where judging comes into it. So as a regional event, we do have our judging component as well. Judging occurs all day on Friday and into Saturday. Judges will be visiting the teams in the pits all throughout all throughout Friday, and then into Saturday morning. I was a former judge for FRC, and I tell you, one of the most frustrating things we would do is we would get to a pit and see that it's empty, or we would get shooed away because they need to work on the robot. Remember, this is a More Than Robots program. We want to hear about the coolness of your robot, but we also want to hear about your community involvement. We want to learn from the teams. So when the judges do come by, make sure to have people in your pit who are knowledgeable and can speak about your robot and your team attributes. Also be ready to talk to those judges. We do understand as well that you do have to get to your match and you need to be ready for it. So if you don't have someone in your pit, a great thing to do is put a little sign in your pit to say, we are in match number XYZ. We will be back around this time. That lets the judges know when to come back and look for your team. But it's always a good idea to plan accordingly, work with your team members, have them ready to speak to the judges when the judges are there. They have a very busy schedule themselves, as they have to interview all 45 teams in a very short period of time. A couple other things. This year, we actually have a record number of teams that applied for the Impact Award. So the Impact interviews are going to happen all day on Friday, and a few of our teams will have to interview on Saturday as well. The Dean's List ones, though, will only occur on Friday. So again, the Impact Awards will happen all day on Friday, with some teams interviewing on Saturday. Dean's List Awards will happen on Friday only. At this time, we haven't published the actual schedule. It will be available to the teams at Pit Admin on Thursday. So once you're settled in on Thursday, go over to Pit Admin, check out when your team is scheduled for their interviews on Friday or maybe in the Saturday. So again, the Impact Award interviews will happen over a day-and-a-half period. The Dean's List Awards will happen on Friday only. The location for the interviews are down a long, skinny tunnel off of one side of the pits. When you get into the venue and you get acclimated, you'll see there's a robot inspection section off in one corner. Right nearby that location is a long tunnel that will take you to the judging area. This is also kind of pinned in next to the staircase where you enter the pits as well. Once you're in the area, it's very easy to find it. It's not a mystery, but that just lets you know where those judging rooms will be. Angela just threw in the chat as a reminder, there will be plenty of signage available to get you to there. The other way it's really easy to find it is there's a set of bathrooms available down in that area. So eventually you're going to wander past the judging rooms to go to the restroom as well. And then finally, we are an official regional. That means some of our teams will use this opportunity to advance to the FIRST championship. If you haven't read through the blog posts yet and the news, there's been a major change. It's actually in the process of changing out. So this is the phase-in year where we go to a new format of how our teams advance from a regional to the first championship. This year, what we can say is that 4 teams are going to be guaranteed an advancement to that championship. That will be our overall impact winner, our Engineering Inspiration Award winner, the captain of the winning alliance, and the first pick on the winning alliance. Those teams will receive a bid to the first championship. Beyond that, there's a new structure kind of following the district model where teams will earn points through any of their first 2 regionals they participate in. Those points will go into a regional pool, and based on your ranking within that regional pool, you may receive an invite to the first championship. That will happen after our event is over. So at our event, we only know of the 4 teams that will be advancing. Additional teams will probably advance, but that will come from headquarters following the conclusion of our event in the days that follow after it. I do invite you to use that QR code, read up on it. It is a major change from prior seasons. We don't have wild cards anymore. We're not going as deep into the advancement pool locally, if you will. We are changing to this model where a handful of teams will advance directly from the Las Vegas Regional. Other teams will advance based on their merit coming from this event and potentially from other regionals that they participated in. Do go in and read up on this. It is a phased-in system, so do follow all the little write-ups about it. If you have any questions, do let us know. All right, I'm going to pause again, see if there's any questions in here. So Rob was asking about team ambassadors. Angela, thank you. And as I said, I didn't mention, but I will come back here. Our practice field is a very quick walk from the pits. It's underneath the stands. You'll see it as you load in on Wednesday. You'll see the practice field on the left. There's a small area there on the side underneath the stands where our practice field is. All right. Hearing no questions and seeing the time go by, I'm going to move into the last section of tonight's little talk, where I want to talk about just preparation. Make sure you've got all your checklists ready to go. All of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed as you get ready for the regional, which, wow, keeps, every time I look at the calendar, how quickly it's approaching. If you're not aware, FRC has put together a very comprehensive webpage to help teams kind of prepare for the event. I do invite you to go check out this. Do recognize that this one page kind of covers regionals throughout the world, but it's still kind of very helpful as a way to kind of prepare for your regional, especially if this is one of your first ones you've ever attended. Do check out this website. Very helpful to kind of think, these are the items I need to bring. This is what I should expect on site. This is how the awards will be laid out. It's very helpful for our teams as they prepare coming to the event itself. Do remind everyone, don't forget certain items, the robot being the most important one. I don't think I've ever heard of a team completely forgetting the robot, but they do forget a number of other items. Tools, very important. Do go into our team event guide. There is a list of restriction tools that you cannot bring as well. So be aware of those as you come in packed up. Do make sure you bring on those extra tools. You will have access to power in your pits. So make sure you have the ability to take that power, and if you need to use power strips to expand on it. Don't forget everything you need related to operating and programming and getting that robot up and running. So you make sure you have all your cables you need. You have your laptop, you have your drive station ready to go. Have everything set there. Don't forget all the items you need for your pit. Think about, what are your tables going to be like? Where's your robot going to sit? Is it going to be on a cart? Is it going to be on a table itself? Do you need to have mats underneath your robot? Make a checklist so you don't forget any of those items. Don't forget that you will be moving your items in and out of a long, steep ramp. So make sure you've got items that can transport your tools, your robot, your decorations on wheels. So a nice rolling tool cart, if you have it, definitely bring it in. Just keep in mind that you may need to have a couple of people help guide that down that ramp, as well as push it up the ramp afterwards. Because again, we don't allow teams to drive their vehicles down the ramp to load in, load out. One of the best parts and fun parts first is all the swag and all of that team identity. Don't forget to pack up your buttons. Don't forget to pack up your decorations, your outfits. Have all that ready to go as well. Pro tip from Adam, bring your workbench. Yep, bring shelving as well. Sometimes shelving is very helpful to just stack things on as well. So make sure to bring that as well. One item that's extremely important that I'd give it a whole slide is safety glasses. Only people wearing safety glasses will be allowed in the pit area or around the competition field. With Thomas and Mack, it's really easy because everything is down on the main arena floor. Basically, if you're on the arena floor, you have to be wearing safety glasses. We have safety glass stations located at all of the stairway entries to the pits and the floor. So just keep in mind, you must have your safety glasses. This goes for everybody, no exceptions. Coaches, team members, spectators, anybody who enters the pit or is around the competition field, we all have to wear our safety glasses. First Nevada will have some to loan. We have some stations, like I said, at the bottom there. But the expectation, and I do want to emphasize the expectation, is teams bring their own glasses and bring enough glasses for every member of their team, both adult and kid alike. Our glasses that we provide are mostly intended for our spectators and our guests. So keep that in mind, please. Make sure you pack enough safety glasses and have them on the ready for our teams, for your teams going in. Other important thing to remember, bring your team roster. During your check-in, we will need a hard copy of your team roster. This is what we use to make sure that our coaches are YPP screened, that all of the team members have a consent and release on file. We will not have printers available for you. You need to bring in a hard copy that you print out ahead of time and brought with you to the venue. This is very important. Again, is policy for first, we need to make sure that our youth have their consent and release done. Our coaches have their youth protection policy all signed off on. This is that centralized, standardized document that we use to ensure that. So make sure you have a hard copy, maybe two, just to be safe. Bring it in, and for the check-in, we'll need to see that. We'll actually collect it, not just need to see it. Of course, this fun part of the event is all of the team spirit. So make sure your team is bringing your mascot, your team flair, your pit decoration. We want to see it. We want to see your identity. We want to see where you're coming from. As I mentioned earlier, we have got 3 different countries. We have 4 different states. We have people coming from all over to come and compete at the Las Vegas Regional. We want to see your identity. Some of our teams are multi-decade old. We want to know what that history was all about, and we want to see it. So we highly encourage everyone to come out, have that enthusiasm, show us your flair, show us a great pit displays. We want to be able to smile just walking up and down the aisles, seeing all that wonderful identity that identifies each of our teams. The pits is your home. The pits is where you're going to hang out for a couple of days. Make your pits inviting. Make sure they're comfortable to hang out in. Do also understand you're only going to have a 10 by 10 space. So a 40-member team can't all fit in the pits. Do keep that in mind. We have plenty of seating in the stands for your team members, your scout team, your visitors. We have plenty of seating for them. But your pits should be your home away from home as well. We want to see who you are. We want to see your identity. A couple of specifics related to the Las Vegas Regional is our pits are not allowed to have canopy tops. So you're welcome to use kind of that tailgating tent frame. You just can't put the canopy cover on it. That's one of the venue policies. Also, we're asking that our teams not bring in heavy rigging as part of it. And what I mean by that is on the right there, I have 2 images of pits that have what we call the maximum acceptable rigging. So the structures that support all of your decorations around there needs to be within reason. As a rule of thumb, one of the youth team members should be able to lift any of the rigging by themselves. If it takes multiple people to lift your rigging, it's probably too heavy. The other thing you might want to consider is if it fell on you, would you be okay? If the answer is no, the rigging is probably a little too heavy. And we do say this because we have incidents, other regionals have incidents. We have all of our teams packed in a tight space. It's very easy to bump into our rigging and knock it over. We just wanted, for the safety of everyone, put some reasonable limits on the size and the weight of the rigging there. So we have received a couple of questions about that because it is an event team guide. Just keep in mind, be reasonable on how heavy the rigging is that supports everything in your pit. Also keep in mind, absolutely no canopies, no covers. It's a fire issue related to the venue, so we want to make sure you have open sky above you. Also, team mascots are great. They're fun. They're entertaining. We have a mascot parade that we do on Friday. So if you have a team mascot, bring them out. If you don't, got a couple more weeks to put one together. We want to see the team mascots. It's so fun seeing them high-five each other. Sometimes we have a dance off with them, and we ask them to come out in the field and entertain everybody. But we definitely have our parade mascots on Friday. If you have a team mascot, make sure to bring the costume. Be ready on Friday when we bring them all together. Have them go around and do a parade through the pits and onto the field. It's a great celebration. It's always fun, especially when they can dance and show us their moves. So if you have a team mascot, bring it out. If you don't, consider maybe putting one together. We'd love to see it. And lastly, and the most important thing in the pack is your team spirit. This is an event. This is an entire program that's predicated on us working together and having fun and inspiring the next generation of STEM leaders. Yes, we hand out trophies. Yes, teams are going to advance. But at the end of the day, what we really want to see is we want to see everyone smiling. We want to see inspiration. We want to hear how they can't wait for next season, that they love this program, they enjoyed the event. That's what this is all about. So bring your team spirit, work together collectively, and have just a great event overall. If you're not feeling it or if something seems off, pull one of us aside and say, hey, can I talk to you about this or that? Our goal is to make sure that on Saturday evening that you're tired, but you're going home with a smile. So do make sure to let us know if anything isn't quite fit right and enjoy the entire event. Well, here I am at the end of it. Let me know what questions you have. Happy to answer them. Feel free to unmute.
Hey, Robo, I think Grace had her hand up earlier, but I don't know if maybe her question was answered, or I'm not sure. Maybe she wanted to add something.
I thought Grace was high-fiving me, but okay, go ahead, Grace.
I'm always high-fiving you.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I was gonna ask for clarification on the scaffolding, but you covered it. So perfect.
Oh, good. I appreciate it. I know it's not like there's no objective measurement we're looking for. We just want teams to be aware and reasonable with what they're bringing in. Keep in mind also, you got to carry that scaffolding in and out, that rigging that you're using in your pit too. So yeah, Tom, sorry. Well, you can cry it. Tom's asking, so no crying at the end of the competition. Yes, if your team is winning, there's always going to be tears of joy. Yep. Yep. Good. What else?
What's the power situation look like?
Oh, Adam, go ahead.
What's the power situation look like?
We have hamsters on wheels for everybody. And so if you have a healthy hamster, you got plenty of power. No. Each pit will have its own plug. I can't quote off the top of my head. I want to say it's 110. Look at the team event guide. I wrote it down, but I didn't memorize it. I apologize.
Pretty sure it's 10 amps, Rubo.
Is it 10? I couldn't remember that number. Thank you, Shar.
Thank you.
That was the number I couldn't remember. Everyone excited? Looking forward to it? Yeah, Angela, be sure to bring your power strips. Do look over the game manual as well as the team event guide in terms of there are some restrictive items. So no grinders, no compression, those sort of tools. Yeah. Yeah, Adam is one of our veteran coaches that year after year keeps getting better and better. Yeah. I love watching Adam kind of get better. Learn every year. Oh yes, I completely forgot to say that, Angela. We do have a machine shop that's being provided by 987 out of Las Vegas. The machine shop is very closely located by the pits. It's right next to the practice field. You'll see it as you're loading in on Wednesday where it's parked. It's a trailer machine shop, but it's all indoors. If you need anything, please stop by the machine shop and ask for help there too. Very good. I'm excited. I can't wait to see everyone. Such an enjoyable event. We have an amazing team of veteran volunteers. We literally, our referees come in from out of state, been doing this for years. We have an amazing FTA, a long time JA that does a great job with the judges. So we can't wait to see all the teams participating and to learn about your incredible season.
And we have also a longtime CSA who's currently doing
Oh,
an event in China to come help all of our team make sure they have the best experience.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. The dream team. Yeah, we like to say. Yeah. Well, we are past the hour. I'll stay on as long as you have questions, but I appreciate everyone's time. Great turnout tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to email Angela. Her email's gone into the chat. Email Leilani and myself. Do remember, I need some help with student ambassadors, both for Friday, working with our tours with the schools that will be visiting us, as well as with our VIPs on Saturday. Doesn't have to be the same kids. It could be different kids. So please, if you have a couple students on your team that might have some free time or idle hands, love to have them help out with representing first and teaching others about it. Thank you, everyone. Like I said, I'll stay on. Everyone else, feel free, jump off, have a good night, and we'll see you shortly.